Recently for Last Epoch we had the full reveal of the upcoming Warlock class. This class will be released with the full launch of the game version 1.0 on the 21st of February this month, so not long to go now. Now the reveal was done via a website called Icy Veins and a content creator called Action RPG, so I'll put links to both the site and the content creator in the description below. But what we're going to do for today's video is we're going to run over their reveal. We're going to break it down and we're going to look at the curse mechanic, which is unique to the Warlock, and we're going to look at the 5 different skills that are available for the Warlock, and we'll have some gameplay of those skills as well. Now let's go on and let's start breaking all this down. So we have this nice infographic here from Icy Veins. It gives us a quick summary of the class. Firstly, you've got the overview here. So a practitioner of the forbidden arts, she tears into the essence of her foes, twisting and corrupting their bodies and minds with curses most vile. Through her dark magic, she can devour the very souls of those who would stand in her way. So 5 different curses are available here. You've got Anguish, Penance, Decrepify, Acid Skin and Torment. So this mechanic is unique to the Warlock class. So to run through what these actually do, you've got Anguish first. This particular one lasts 10 seconds, reduces damage over time dealt to yourself and deals necrotic damage to the enemies. It doesn't stack this, so it'll just be the one stack of it you actually have. You then have Penance. Anyone wanting to run a Ghost Rider style build, and there's a skill later on that allows you to do that. This is really nice for that. But Penance is a curse that lasts 15 seconds, which causes affected targets to take 20 spell fire damage when they hit another target. This also doesn't stack, so when the enemy hits you, they'll be taking fire damage back. You have Decrepify. This is a curse that deals physical damage over 10 seconds, and with this as well, it causes a target to take more damage from damage over time effects based on your missing health. So this will be for your low life dot builds, and potentially this alongside the next curse we're going to look at could make for some pretty bonkers setups. So the next curse is Acid Skin. So this curse deals poison damage, but what it also does as well, it adds a flat 20% chance for the enemy that is affected by it to be critically hit. So that's pretty awesome there. And then the final curse we have is Torment. So this one will deal spell necrotic damage over 3 seconds, and with this it will reduce the movement speed of the enemy as well. That's 12% it reduces it by. The curse doesn't stack this one, but I'm curious if it will actually work alongside Chill as well, so you could really pull down the movement speed on enemies. So that's the curses. It's interesting to see what they're able to do, and I like what they've done with them in that they're quite similar to some of the effects that are available in the game, but they've got a little twist on them as well. Jumping back to the infographic here then, we actually have details on the 5 different skills that are available, and we've got gameplay of these skills available via Action RPG as well. So we'll go in now and we'll break down the different skills. The first skill we have here then, this is Tonic Fissure. This particular one, tear open a fiery fissure in the ground, releasing vengeful spirits that curse and torment your enemies. Animation wise, you can see this looks amazing, and this is the case for all the Warlock skills. With it being a new character, they really have went to town on the visuals for it. Now we have some of the modifiers for this particular skill as well. Starting off, we have Of Gloom and Flame. So Tonic Fissure now creates a secondary fissure in the opposite direction that casts its own spirits. Enemies can take damage from both fissures, so you're stacking the damage on this if they stand on both of them, but it costs more to actually cast it, but you're doubling your damage for 80% mana cost, so that seems pretty nice. This next one here thematically is pretty awesome. You rip a hole in the ground and then you have zombies just pouring out of it. So fissures now cast volatile zombies every 2 seconds, but they consume the mana cost equal to summoning volatile zombies. As volatile zombies cast this way, if they have a chance to create multiple zombies, then it means it's actually lower, but even still, this is pretty awesome. The next modifier here is Twisted Wave. So with this one, the damage portion of this skill, you'll deal more damage, and more is your awesome multiplier, per 2% uncapped necrotic resistance. You deal 1% more damage, and there's quite a few items, and there's quite a few part of the Warlock kit where you can actually really up the necrotic resistance that is available for them. So I reckon we'll see a couple of builds all around just really going to town with necrotic resistance and seeing how much it will buff this particular skill. The final modifier we bring up here for this is Valley of Defilement. So this particular one, simple enough what it does, but it converts your fire to your poison damage. But I always like skills like this because it means thematically if you want to run a certain build, then it allows you to do it. The next skill we have here is Chaos Bolt. So with this one, unleash a barrage of chaotic fire and necrotic projectiles devastating the area around your target. Once again, animation wise, this looks absolutely amazing. In regards to some different effects that will be available for it, you've got another affliction. So this one, Chaos Bolts hits against cursed enemies cast Bone Curse at their location. So that's a base skill within the kit of the Acolyte class, so you can cast this without having it on your bar. So that's pretty nice. The next modifier here is Tonic Fissure. This one, Chaos Bolts releases additional projectiles, but it has a higher mana cost, so you can invest 4 points in this. So that's an additional 4 projectiles, cost an extra 20 mana, but it'll be nice just filling screen full of projectiles with this one. And then it's Exile and Misery. So Chaos Bolts hits deal more damage to damned, ignited, bleeding and frostbitten enemies. So if you apply your dots first, you'll get more bonus from this. And then finally we've got Destructive Intensity. So whenever you cast Chaos Bolts, you gain a stack of Destructive Intensity up to a maximum. You can place 4 points into this and you get 2 stacks per point that you actually put in, so that means 8 stacks in total, which means you can get an additional flat 8% crit chance for this particular skill as long as you're constantly hitting enemies. That's a fair amount, and with multipliers you'll be able to get that really high. The next skill we have here is Provan Fail. This particular one is our movement ability for the Warlock. So with this you transform into an ephemeral fog of cursed energy, dealing necrotic damage over time to nearby enemies. So not only have you got movement, you get damage as well with this. So modifier wise, you've got Unholy Renewal. You cleanse all negative ailments on you when you enter Provan Fail. That's really strong, really like this particular one. You've got Desecrated Graves, so you now cast Bone Curse when you enter and exit Provan Fail. So that's the second skill we've got that allows us to cast Bone Curse. And you've also got Stream of Profanity. This one, directly casting a curse skill reduces Provan Fail's remaining cooldown, so you can spam it more often. And bear in mind, on the back of spamming it, you've got your negative ailment cleanse, and you've got potentially your adding Bone Curse to it as well. So overall, looks to be a pretty awesome skill with quite a lot going on with it as well. The next skill we have here is one that used to actually be part of the Acolyte tree, but this will be reworked with version 1.0. You've got a visual upgrade and you've got some nice new modifiers on it as well. So we move to the Warlock tree. It is Soul Feast. With this, feast on souls of cursed enemies, dealing necrotic damage to them and drawing fragments of their souls back to bolster your defences. And normally this will give you ward. I say normally because one of the modifiers here, Blood Feast, you can see with this that you change it from doing necrotic to physical damage, and rather than getting ward back with it, you can get health instead. So that's an interesting change. We then have Grand Imprint. This is a modifier that was on it before. With this one, in order for Soul Feast to actually work, you no longer need to have Cursed on the enemy, but it shouldn't be a problem with how many curses the Warlock can actually add. And then finally you've got Withering Maw, an interesting one to see because it says Soul Feast inflicts Withering on hit, an ailment which increases curse damage taken. With this, it increases the damage that curses do by 10%. It lasts for 3 seconds, but it stacks up to a whopping 20 times. And the final ability we have here is Ghost Flame, and I would say we've saved the best for last for this one. This one looks to be a ton of fun. So with this, spew a gout of necrotic and fire energy in the target direction, but where your mana drains as you lay waste to your foes. So with this, modifiers that are available on this, you've got Spirit of the Dread, so it is a channeled ability. With this, however, you move towards the target location while channeling with increased movement speed. It'll be a higher channel cost, but we've got a channeling skill, but one that solves the problem of the fact that channeling skills make you a sitting duck because you'll be moving with this one. So really interesting to see how this will actually work out. We have Fiery Desecration next, so Ghost Flame now deals damage in a full circle around you, but it's a higher channeling cost. I'm curious if you could work that alongside Spirit of the Dread, so you could actually just be going around the screen channeling this at the same time, although channeling cost is going to go up by 110% looking at the numbers there. But yeah, if you could get a build with a lot of mana regen, that could be pretty fun. And then you've got Memorial of Flame, so after channeling for 1.1 seconds, Ghost Flame detaches itself and persists for a short duration without you needing to channel it. So once again, I really like the fact that channeling abilities in action RPG games are always troublesome ones. They're normally ones that aren't worth using, so I like to see they're trying some new things with this particular skill here. So that is a quick showcase of the Warlock class coming with version 1.0 of Last Epoch in just a few weeks. 21st of December is when it will officially be out. Looks like a really interesting class. Will it be as powerful as the Rune Master? Time will tell, but visually they really have went to town and it is looking pretty nice. Now, if you've not actually pre-ordered the game yet, there's 3 different editions that are available and there's a link to them in the description below. But as always, I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know what you think of the Warlock class in the comments below, and thanks for tuning in. Stay safe and I'll see you all again soon.